Doing it? Sometimes I can't
It's
tell.
kind of delayed. Hold on. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so happy to see all your faces. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alysia Fehrman. I've been in since June 2018. So this is my third time we're talking. I'm here to talk to you guys about your future. So this time of year, maybe you're feeling a little bit like you're not seeing, if you've been in for a little bit, you might not be feeling as much enrollments as you did in the springtime, or if you're brand new, you have no idea. Maybe you feel like you've been talking to a million people and nobody's signed up yet. It's totally normal for this time of year because Christmas is coming up and people need to save money. And it's just totally normal to not see a lot of enrollments as you will in the spring, or maybe that you have experienced in the spring. So question for, and I don't know if anyone's familiar with agriculture, but does anyone know when farmers usually plant their first crops of the year? Anybody? So I Googled this before and they start around April, between April and May. So does anyone know when the harvest season is for farmers? It's between September and December. So farmers plant their seeds about 5 to 7 months before they see their harvest. So you have here, everyone wants to make more money. So all the people you talk to right now, as long as you're posting and you're building relationships at the time of year, and I'm sure Sam will touch on this, but for holidays, like even on Halloween, for my potentials, I just pop in and say something like, Happy Halloween, hope you and your family had a great holiday, whatever. Just building a relationship so when they are ready to order, they're going to come to you because you've been cultivating that relationship and, you know, your seed that you've been watering and putting sunshine on with your interactions and all that kind of stuff. So just really important to remember this time of year because it does get tough when people are not spending as much money and you feel like you're talking to, I mean, we were talking on a diamond and above Zoom the other day. You feel like you're doing 2-a-days, like you're putting in all this work and you're not seeing as many results. So just know that your harvest is coming as long as you stay consistent in your posting, in your following up, in your adding to your network and just building those relationships, because this will be my third time in this season. In my first year, I started in June, and so like tons of people. In January, I was only a Ruby, but then from January to March, I went from Ruby to Diamond. So because of all these people I talked to for the previous 9 months that I had continued to consistently follow up with and interact with, like, so my harvest came because of the work that I was doing, even though I didn't see the result right away. So you just have to have the faith in what you're doing now is going to pay you in the future. And if you're on my team, I said this last night on our team Zoom too, but good to hear again, because it's so worth it. And you'll definitely reap the benefits of your work if you just stay consistent. And then, you know, this last year I was a diamond all the way through until I promoted to double this last spring because of the work I did all last year and all those follow-ups that I had. So just know your time is coming and have faith in the process, plant your seeds, just build the relationships and be friendly with your potentials through holidays. And they're going to come to you. Like if you're new and you haven't gone through a New Year's yet, like the boom season is crazy because everyone has New Year's resolutions. You know that. You all know that. We all have our own, you know? So yeah, I just wanted to say that because like I said, farmers plant their seeds in April and they don't see the harvest until 5 to 7 months later. So just think of yourself as a farmer because that's what we're doing and cultivate your seeds and you're going to have a crazy boom season. So yeah, I think I'm handing it off to Sam or Alyssa. I don't know what one.
I think so. It doesn't matter either way. It doesn't have to go in order, I guess. So I'm going to talk to you guys about a specific type of seed that you are going to be wanting to plant over the next 60 days. You guys probably are already doing this. We've touched on it quite a bit on our last couple of Zooms, but I'm going to give you guys some actual scripts and verbiage to use in the chat. I'm going to wait until I'm done talking, and then while Samantha talks, I will throw these things in the chat for you guys. My recommendation is that you take some time. I will leave the Zoom up when we are done tonight so that you guys can go through and you can copy and paste all of it to the notes in your phone so that you can be using this over the next 60 days or so, because I'm going to give you some different post ideas and messages and follow-ups and all sorts of things. So first thing I want you guys to do is share in the chat. I want you to think about the holidays. Think about, you know, obviously Halloween's past, but thinking about Thanksgiving, Christmas parties, holiday parties, Hanukkah, all the things, all the yummy food, all the stuff. Okay. I want you to think about that. And I want you to share in the chat either what you think will be like the most popular products during that season, or what has been your top selling products in that season. if you've been in this season before. Okay, and you guys can just share that in the chat. You know, specifically for me, I'm so excited about Skinny Brew because we haven't gone through this season with Skinny Brew yet. And not only do we already have customers hooked on it that aren't going to not order it just because it's the holidays, because people are hooked. They don't want to go without it if they love it. But I'm excited because people are still spending money on coffee through the holidays. And to be honest, it's a lot of people aren't just spending money on like Folgers or Maxwell House. People probably spend more on Starbucks and like fancy holiday drinks during the holiday season than more than ever because they're out shopping. And I don't know about you guys, but before I sold coffee or had this coffee and loved it, anytime I was out Christmas shopping, I always wanted a fancy coffee or a fun drink from somewhere. And I probably spent way too much money at chain or local coffee shops. And so I'm really excited about having Skinny Brew through the holidays because I think you guys are going to be surprised just how much cash you can make in samples, but also how many people will actually be placing orders through the holidays that maybe in previous years wouldn't have necessarily spent the extra money because their money is already going to coffee. So I'm going to talk to you guys again about some different sample posts that you can be making over the next couple of weeks to hopefully gather interest for selling samples. That's mainly what I want to talk to you guys about tonight is selling samples, because I know especially if you're new, but honestly, even for me being 9 years in, I like making quick cash. I feel like it's something that I can control. There's no commitment from people. Like it's quick. And so the first thing I want you to know is you're not going to offer samples right away to someone. If you're talking to them about the products, don't offer samples first. I don't care if you're new and you're nervous and you're worried that they won't spend that kind of money on coffee. They will. So don't offer samples to a potential customer right off the bat. You're going to use samples as a follow-up for those people. Even if people tell me I need to wait until next week, I don't offer them samples right away. I would rather them get the full benefits of the products by drinking it every other day or every day rather than drinking it for just 3 days. Okay, so don't just offer samples to everyone. We still want you to get your loyal customers. So you're going to use it as a follow-up message, which I'm going to give you a sample of the follow-up message. You guys, I've sold, I think I'm up to 14 sample packs sold. It's only November 5th. So do the math. Most of them I've sold for $18 a piece. I know some people sell it for $20. I just was playing around this month with 18 and it seems to be working really well for me. And so I set a very specific goal at the beginning of the month of what I was going to pay for with this sample cash. And because I did that, I'm being very intentional with offering it to people, talking about it, posting about it in my story. And it's funny because when you make a specific goal like that and you put it out there, you tend to attract whatever you focus on, right? So if I was focusing on sleepy tea or hair, skin, and nails, that's probably what I would be attracting. Right now, I'm attracting Skinny Brew sample or Skinny Brew customers and samples because that's what I wanted. That's what I set my goal for this month, knowing it was going to be a really important product through the holidays. Okay, that's my thing. I'm selling it for $18. You guys can sell it for as much as you want, $18, $20. But the other way that I'm selling a ton of sample packs is by offering it to the people that are hosting a post for me. So typically I do one of three things when someone does a host to post for me. I always call it the Cassie message because I think she's the one that came up from it, but it's like, thank you. The drawing will be live on my page whenever. We have some crazy promotions going on right now. Like, are you interested in any health skincare products, something like that? I can share the script here in a little bit, but that has been amazing for me. I've gotten lots of leads from that. So I usually use that the first time I thank someone for doing a host to post for me. Another message that I'll use is, thank you so much for posting it for me. Have you ever thought about making extra money on social media? I think you'd be amazing at this. Okay, so planting a seed about the business. And then this month, because my goal was to sell lots of Skinny Brew sample packs, I have been messaging them again. I'll give you the message, but basically thanking them for posting for me and letting them know that I'm offering a special discount for people that post for me to try a 3-day sample pack of the Skinny Brew. And so for those people, I'm charging $15. So I charge them $15 and they did a host to post for me. So it's win-win. The thing I really love about the Skinny Brew is that when people try it, they really can feel a difference with the 3-day sample pack. And so I do have a lot of people that transition from sample packs to customers. So if you think about it, you're getting a win-win-win. You got a host to post and you got cash, and they're going to be a customer down the road. So you get all three perks of that. So those are the main ways. I'm going to put all the verbiage in the chat. What I typically do is what I would recommend doing, but what I personally do is I post about the coffee in my story, either on Facebook or Instagram, whatever you guys are using, probably every day. If not every day, probably 5 to 7 days out of the week. I have either a picture of my coffee mug with the Skinny Brewer keto coffee in it, or I have a video of me mixing it, or I have testimonies of someone else drinking it, and we have tons of those on our Pinterest page. But almost every day, I'm talking about the Skinny Brewer keto coffee in my story, because that consistency helps me so that when I make an official post about Skinny Brew or keto coffee, people have already been seeing it. So when you talk about having a limited supply of sample packs to send out, people know what you're talking about because they've been seeing you post about it every single day. So my recommendation is 3 to 7 times a week, talk about the Skinny Brew or in coffee or sleepy tea or whatever you're wanting to attract into your business, post about it in your story. And then maybe once a week, every 7 to 10 days, post about having Skinny Brew sample packs. That doesn't mean that you can't post about the coffee in between, but specifically looking for people that want to try the sample packs, maybe about every 10 days. So 3 times a month or so. And I'm going to give you guys 4 or 5 posts that have worked for me in the past to sell sample packs. So you guys can literally save those and use them throughout the holidays. So we're not going to post every day about Skinny Brew, okay? I promise I will not post every day about Skinny Brew sample packs, okay? You got to talk about other things. But if you will be consistent with this, you can even write it on your calendar. If you're someone that uses a planner or can put it in your phone so that you don't forget, a week from now, make a reminder saying, post about Skinny Brew sample packs. Okay, it's really that easy, but the consistency of it matters. I think that's it. I'm going to pass it over to Samantha. She's going to talk about a different type of seed that you guys need to be planting.
Hey guys, I'm Sam. I've been in this business almost 7 months now, I think. So I haven't necessarily been through this season yet. So this has been super new for me too. And I'm just kind of learning all the things and how, things are different in different seasons. So right now this season isn't super, customer heavy at the moment. So another great seed that you want to be planting is for potential distributors. So a lot of us need to grow our business, right? We need to grow our business to promote, to just kind of get further in the business, to grow in our leadership. And part of that is shifting your focus from customers to distributors. And when you do that, you might see a little bit of a temporary dip in your customer enrollments. And I know that can be kind of scary. I'm kind of speaking from experience because I did this a few months ago, and I just was like, I don't have a lot of distributors on my team that are working. I want to grow in my leadership. I want to grow my team because part of this business is building your team. And it just came to a point where I was like, okay, I just got to focus more on getting distributors and planting those seeds, because a lot of us are very customer focused because we're like, that's where the volume is. Like, that's how I'm going to promote. I'm going to move volume around in different boxes. So you're very customer focused because you're always posting about the products, you're putting them on your stories, you're talking about them. And it kind of, in the beginning, distributors kind of get put on the back burner because you're not really thinking about that yet. But there comes a time in your business where you're ready to start doing that. And when you are, you might see a dip in your customer enrollments, and that's okay because it's part of the process. You just have to trust it, because when I did it, I saw a dip in my customer enrollments, and it did scare me a little bit because I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to have enough volume? Things like that. You just kind of worry about those things when you're not necessarily focusing on customers. But I promise, you just have to trust the process, because everything will turn out how it's supposed to, because you're going to be focusing on your host to post and your posting and just reaching out to people. And you're still going to do that for your customers, but you're going to do it 10 times harder for those distributors. You're going to be really focusing on those PDT haps, reaching out to potential distributors and just following up, because we know how important follow-up is, right? Like, it is important for customers, but it's just as important for distributors, because it's almost more important for distributors, because you know how long it may have taken you to sign and to kind of take that leap. It's going to take other people 7 to 12 times of you following up, or even more, before they are ready to sign with you. So you're going to be spending a lot of time trying to just, get to know those distributors, build those relationships, so that when it comes time and they're ready to sign, they're going to come to you. And the month that I was really, really focusing on distributors and I saw that dip in my customer enrollments, I didn't sign any distributors. And you're not going to necessarily see results right away. And we might feel like it's not working, or that this process isn't working, or that you did something wrong. But I promise you, like, that is okay, because the next month I signed 13 distributors. So your seeds are being planted and they will harvest. It might not be right away, because building your team takes a little while. It takes building those relationships and gaining those people's trust, because they're like, okay, I'm going to listen to this girl. I'm going to see what she has to offer, but I might want to watch her a little bit more. Or they might just have life happening, or they're scared to fail, or they just might not have the money to sign. But then, with these New Year's resolutions coming around and people just wanting to make more money for the next year, or jump out of their comfort zone, if you are the person that's following up with them and you're that person in their inbox on that day that they are just ready to jump in, they're going to sign with you. And they're going to be like, hey, I like this girl. She took the time to get to know me. She was following up with me. She thinks I can do this. She believes in me. They are going to come to you when the time comes. And all of that time that you spent and all of the seeds that you planted, it's going to be worth it, because you trusted the process. But one other thing that is so huge is your mindset, because when you do this, you have to have your mind right, because if you don't, you might just get scared. You might just give up halfway through, and that's not what you want, because you can do it and it will all happen at the right time. Because if you're not ready, like, those distributors aren't going to come to you. If you're thinking, I can't do this, I can't build a team, like, my distributors that I signed, they're not going to work. Well, those are the types of people that you're going to get. And you're right, it's not going to work. So you just really have to have a strong mindset and be ready, because it will happen for you and it's going to be amazing. And you just have to go for it. Trust the process. And all these distributors that are potential distributors that you were talking to will turn into distributors. It just is going to take time. It's going to take patience. You're doing the work and you're putting all of that effort in, and it's going to turn out great for you. You just have to trust the process. So now is a great time to start doing that, because you have so many more people that are ready to just try something new, that are like waiting to just have somebody in their inbox that is like giving them this amazing opportunity. And it might not be for another month or two, but come the new year, this is going to be amazing for your business, because this is just a great way to start for when that next run comes, and when that next season comes of just craziness. And I personally am looking forward to it, because I haven't been a part of that one yet. So I'm super, super excited. But I'm just like super excited to see where all of you guys are at if you kind of start putting this into place in the next like few days, because it's going to be amazing. Your new year is going to be amazing. And I just can't wait to see what you guys do.
Love it. Okay, so I took notes when both of you guys were talking, and there's a couple things that I wanted to throw in or share that I just forgot about. The first being, I just want to give you guys a very like personal, real example of this whole trusting the process and your results being delayed. Because I feel like almost always host to post, we can have some occasionally we have unicorns. If you guys ever see us talk about unicorns, that's people that order on the spot, that join the business without asking very many questions, like Samantha that just joined like basically the next day. We have unicorns. Okay, so we're not saying that people won't join on the spot, but typically over the last 9 years, I've noticed a trend of like 30 to 90 days, after the initial planting is when the harvest comes. And so I was really frustrated in September and like the first half of October with my own personal business because I felt like I'm showing up, doing host to post, doing all the things, my enrollments are terrible. And, you know, I could blame it on the election and I could blame it on COVID and all the things and people going back to work. But the thing is, and it didn't hit me right away, even though I talk about this on Zooms and I've been doing this for so long, I'm like, oh, I had a really rough first trimester of my pregnancy. Guess what? 30, 60, 90 days before my business slump, before I was in that valley. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot because I'm working now. But 3 months ago, I was still showing up for my business and doing as much as I could, but I wasn't doing as much as I do on a normal basis. I wasn't getting my host to post up like I normally do. I wasn't keeping track of conversations like I normally do. And so just keep that in mind. What you do now is going to pay off. And it's going to pay off in a huge way with the new year coming. But if you're having a lot of enrollments now, it's usually based on what you did 30, 60, 90 days ago. So you want to continue to do those things because too often I see people go crazy, plant all the seeds. They feel like it's not paying off, so they stop planting the seeds. Then the seeds start coming to harvest. Then they wish that 30 days ago they would have not stopped planting the seeds. Like you just have to continually plant the seeds. If you really look at our job, like Alyssa said, like we're farmers. If that was your one job was to plant, that's what you would do, and you know that the harvest is coming. Like you just have to trust it. And I know that's the hardest part for some people is they think they're going to put this work in and they're not going to see it pay off. And I've truly never had people put in the work and learn the business and get better and, you know, ask questions and stay plugged in that haven't found success if they've trusted the process. So that was the first thing. The other thing, and Samantha kind of touched on this, is you guys, people go through a major life change, they say every 9 months. So if you think about that, the person that told you no today or told you no 3 months ago, you don't know what they have coming. You don't know if they're about to unexpectedly get pregnant or lose a job or just decide they hate their job, or that there's a million things that happen to people that change the course of their life. And so you don't know when they're going to be looking for this. I've had so many people over the years not interested in products. And then guess what? They gained weight or lost weight or had a baby or got married or whatever. And then all of a sudden they want products, or we don't have black coffee. And then all of a sudden in February we do, because we never know what products the company's coming out with either. So people hit major life changes. Are you going to be here? Are you going to be the one that have planted the seed and watered the seed and cultivated? And are you ready to accept the harvest when they are ready to join or order from you? Okay, so that's up to you. You've got to be the one that sticks. We can't do that for you. And then, okay, very last thing is, nope, 2 last things. I want you guys to make sure this season that you are focusing on the size of your potentials list. Okay, Alyssa kind of touched on this, but like we can't necessarily control when people order. We can follow up, we can build a relationship, we can plant the seed, but instead of focusing just on your goal of however many customers, let's say your goal is to get 6 customers this month, that's great, keep that goal. But instead of only focusing on that, what if you said my goal is to have 100 potential customers by the end of November? Or you said, I'm going to have more potential distributors than I ever had, even if they don't sign, because you know more things are coming. You know promotions are coming. You know new products are coming. So disconnect from the actual enrollment and just get excited about the size of the list. Because I get pumped when I have a huge long list of people to follow up with when Black Friday comes, when New Year's comes, when conference comes, when all of these things over the next couple of months happen. You're going to be so happy that the size of your list is as long as it is. Because I have woken up also when the company has announced special promotions like $20 kits or $40 kits or half off kits and realized, oh crap, I wasn't planting seeds like I should have been. I was following up with the same list over and over, but I wasn't finding new potentials. And then you're not excited when they announce a promotion. I want you guys to be so flipping out and the verge of tears next time the company announces some sort of promotion or whatever. Even if they don't announce a promotion, we know that our comp plan is well advanced over any other comp plan out there. We know that our customer program is legit, but I want you to think about that. if tomorrow the company said, hey, it's $10 to join, or hey, all products are an extra 50% off, just something crazy, would you freak out, or would you be so mad at yourself for not planting more seeds? That's the way you have to look at it. And then very last, I don't know if Lydia's on here tonight or not, and I think this was from a Zoom recently, but she told me this was going to be like her theme of the month, and I love it. Customers, LCs, loyal customers, they add to your business. Distributors multiply your business. And if you look at it that way, customers are still important. You guys still need to be talking about the products. Like, we still need customers. You still need volume. But if you will also trust the process, like Samantha said, even if it takes you 30, 60, 90 days to sign a distributor, distributors can multiply your business because you're now growing into a network that you don't personally have. So keep that in mind. It is worth it to trust that process, even though sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Okay, I think that's it. We kept it right to 30 minutes. So unless either of you have anything else you want to share, we'll just let people go.
I have one thing. So as you know, I'm saying plant the seeds and trust the process. The harvest is coming. So if I told you, if you could do your KPI tracker every single day from now until March, because you know what happens when the company announces big bonuses at conference, like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 bonuses. If I told you you could do your KPI every day from now until March, that you would get a $20,000 bonus, would you do it? Yes, you would. So just think of it like that, because if you do it, I can promise you, I mean, it can happen. So work for that.
Love that. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so you guys work your business like there is a $25,000 bonus on the line. Work your business like distributors are going to multiply your business. Work your business like your harvest is going to be the most insane thing you've ever experienced. But show up and work your business, trust the process. Like, we wouldn't still be here if we didn't know the power of working through this season and continuing to plant seeds. Like, there's a reason I get actually really excited about this season, knowing that people are distracted, knowing that people are busy, but knowing that I'm going to stay disciplined and my business is going to flourish because of that. And I want the same for all of you guys. So I hope you're taking it seriously as much as we're talking about this season. And, we've been talking about it on huddles and on trainings, because it is that important, because we know what will happen to your business if you will hear us, if you will actually absorb this information and go out and plant the seeds. So that's it for tonight. I appreciate you guys being on. Alyssa, Samantha, thank you, friends, and we'll see you guys later.